Hello, welcome back to the Breaking News Update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out for the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got a very big lineup of news to brief you all on today. So today's date is May 28, 2025, and it's Wednesday. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Lots of huge news to cover in this war today. We're going to start off with very big information coming out from Russia overnight as Ukraine's military fired another massive drone swarm into the Moscow region, targeting multiple military sites. Take a look at your screen here. Ukrainian drones hit several military defense facilities in Russia overnight. Russia said it repelled a record breaking drone attack overnight into Wednesday, destroying nearly 300 Ukrainian drones across multiple regions, including near the capital. So, if that happens to be the case and Russia really shot down 300 drones, imagine how many were actually going into Russia. I mean, we don't know the exact number, but we know for sure hundreds of drones were entering into Russia last night and mostly going after military sites. This video that you see here is actually coming out from the city of Zelenograd, which is just outside of Moscow. And these drones struck the Elma Techno Park, which is the name of this facility, which produces electronic devices and optics. Okay, so like microelectronics are being produced here for Russia's military. We also reportedly had another drone strike in the city of Dubna, just a little bit north of Moscow. UAV manufacturing site was hit over there as well. I've got video footage coming out from the Moscow region today. Definitely a lot of regions being targeted last night. But again, Ukraine appears to be putting emphasis on the Moscow region. Also, a lot of the airports over there were shut down once again. Lots of flights being canceled. So lots of delays being created within Russia's aviation industry. We also have news today coming out from Germany that Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has arrived in Berlin today and met with Friedrich Merz, the German Chancellor, and we've got a major military aid package that has been announced. Lots of defense spending going to be put into Ukraine's military as well, and big statements coming out from that meeting today also, and information coming out from the Kremlin today that I want to share with you guys to get you caught up on what Russia's talking about in regards to this war as well. So lots of news to cover, guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. We're going to hop on over here with War Monitor. Path of Ukrainian drones in Russia reaching near Moscow. So this is the little map from Drone Bomber on Telegram that came out late last night, showing the trajectory of a lot of these drones entering into Russia. So you can see a lot of them just same direction that we keep seeing right towards the Moscow Oblast up here. And Ukraine appears to be going after all these military sites, also putting heavy pressure onto the capital of Moscow to force the closure of flights and delay many passengers from being able to travel out of Moscow. So that's another major hit too, because the aviation industry is another big part of Russia's economy, and if they continue doing that, that's got to be putting major damage and lots of heavy losses in terms of economic activity inside of Russia. So you can see here just lots of different drones going into Russia last night. Move on to another update now from Slava. During the night operation, drones successfully struck a number of key targets in the central parts of the Russian Federation, causing significant damage to military, industrial infrastructure, and logistics centers. These strikes were the result of a carefully planned and coordinated attack in which various types of drones were tested, which demonstrated high efficiency and accuracy. So yeah, apparently a lot of different drones were being tested last night with this attack into Russia. Okay, not only like Liudi drones, which is probably one of the major drones we see attacking inside of Russia. Apparently, Ukraine was testing out a bunch of new drones as well. Here's some more information from Slava also, and it says in total about 300 drones attacked the territories of the Moscow region, Bryansk, Belgorod, and Vladimir, Voronezh, Ivanovo, Kaluga, Kursk, Oriol, Ryazan, Smolensk, Ver, and Tula regions. Most airports in the European parts of the Russian Federation canceled flights. In Dubna, the Konstrad plant, which produces UAVs for the army, was hit. A fire after the strike caused significant damage to the equipment. In Zelenograd, a logistics center related to microelectronics was attacked. Explosions and personnel evacuation were recorded. In Tula, an industrial zone where components for military equipment were manufactured, was hit, and the Splav plant, which we reported on earlier, was also hit. Also, a warehouse with ammunition and components for heavy weapons were destroyed. I mean, look at that, guys. Lots of military sites being hit. Also, this Splav plant, we've talked about this like twice in the last maybe 30 to 45 days. of it being hit numerous times already. This is probably the third time, yeah, for sure, in like a month or so that we've talked about the splav plant being hit. And the splav plant produces like ammunition for Russia's military, also like Grad missiles or MLRS rockets. In Kaluga region, a hit on a fuel facility caused a large-scale fire. In Bryansk region, a drone attack disabled the railway infrastructure, halting supplies in several directions. In Smolensk region, damage to equipment storage facilities was documented. In Ryazan region, explosion at a military warehouse. Successful testing of new unmanned platforms means that such strikes will now be systematic. We've all been waiting for this result for a very long time. We hope that this was just a test. Very important and effective work. Yes, for sure. I have to agree with that. So here's video coming out from Zelenograd. This is that same facility, the Elma Techno Park, okay, that was attacked. This is a microelectronics manufacturer for Russia's military, and reportedly is sanctioned as well by numerous countries, like all the EU countries, the US. Numerous countries sanctioned this place a long time ago, and could still be operated right now. I would assume that it is. The fact that Ukraine is attacking it, and this drone crashed right at the front doors. That's that same building of that video that I had for you guys on the waiting screen, okay? But this was soon after the wreckage of the UAV fell onto the territory of the premises of this building. And also a little bit of backstory on the information in this town here. So this district apparently is also similar to like Silicon Valley inside of California in the US. It's a major like technology hub inside of Russia, okay? So there'd be a lot of facilities like this located in this area. So let's move on to another update now from More Translated. Once again, unrest has returned to Russia overnight in the morning. The Konstrad, kind of hard to pronounce there, UAV manufacturing facility in Dubna near Moscow was hit. In Moscow, the Elma Techno Park at Zelenograd was attacked. It is considered a key scientific and industrial center for electronics and microelectronics. Preliminary reports indicate that nearly 300 UAVs were counted in the Russian airspace overnight. So this video is actually going to show you guys about 1 minute long of the Elma Techno Park being hit. This is the microelectronics manufacturer in Zelenograd in Russia, near Moscow region. Take a look at this.
А что, он реально с такими звуками летает?
Нет, в прошлый раз мы не слышали, как он летел.
Нет.
Да, это он, смотри, сейчас заводится.
Он такой огромный.
Да, он огромный.
Я думаю, это какая-то беспалевная штука.
Нет.
Знаешь, как птички летают, грубо говоря.
Зум поменьше. Охуеть. Вот это уже не зверь.
Охренеть. У нас все машины на парковке. Видишь, даже...
All right, we'll go ahead and stop it right there, guys. So what you witnessed in this video was a Ukrainian Lyuti drone smashing directly into the Elma Techno Park microelectronics manufacturing plant in Zelenograd in the Moscow region, okay? So crazy video right there. Let's move on to another update from Max 25. Micron microelectronics plant, which is under U.S. sanctions, was damaged in the Elma Technology Park in Zelenograd after a drone attack, according to Astra. The roof and part of the building of one of the plant's production facilities was damaged. So here's that picture coming out up close as well, showing this massive fire here and all that damage to the front side of this building. Reportedly, the roof was also damaged in this attack. Now from Ozen Technical, a number of Russian Air Force transport and airlift assets are fleeing Moscow tonight as Ukrainian attack drones target the area. Okay, so this is the second time in the last week that we've seen this. A lot of Russian aircraft just taken off from Moscow right before we have a massive attack onto the Moscow region coming from Ukraine. And from what I understand here, I'm assuming that maybe what Russia's doing is just trying to protect a lot of these aircraft from being destroyed. Maybe Ukraine is going after some of the airfields over there, and we don't really have that information to show that here. But maybe that's what Russia's trying to do, is protect these aircraft from being destroyed from these drone attacks. So, yeah, allegedly we had a 1 Tu-214ON, 2 Tu-1554B2s, excuse me, 3 of the Ilyushin 76 MDs, 1 Tu-152M, and 1 Tu-134AK. that were fleeing Moscow yesterday. Okay, so there was some reports on this like a week ago that there was like a lot of top officials that were jumping on their planes and getting out of Moscow. So I don't know if that's the case here. If maybe these are just Kremlin officials that are fleeing Moscow, or maybe they're just trying to move these aircraft so they're not destroyed. You guys can let me know what you think, but most likely that's probably what it is, just an evacuation of aircraft so that way they don't get destroyed. So now for Max 25, Moscow region, we've got a crazy video here of some residents outside. It seems like almost like teenagers, just young kids outside, and there's a drone coming into the Moscow region and crashing not too far away from them, and they appear to be very frightened. Take a look at this.
Алло. Ложись, дрон.
Иди сюда, иди.
Нет, по дереву, пойдем.
Слава, выключи вспышку. Слава, выключи вспышку выключи.
Тише. Нет.
Иди сюда.
Бегом, домам, бегом.
Ничего не трогайте, оставьте потом.
Пожалуйста.
Алло.
All right, so pretty frightening video, but something to think about is, the fact that Russia launched this invasion into Ukraine, and 3 years later, many people probably thinking that Ukraine would have lost by now, but no, Ukraine is getting stronger by the day, now starting to hammer back into Russia, especially the Moscow region, which is just an absolute fortress compared to the rest of the nation in Russia in terms of air defense, okay? And a lot of these drones just making it right in and crashing all over the place, and the Russian citizens getting a taste of their own medicine of what's happening to Ukraine, okay? So isn't that just crazy to think about that the Russians are experiencing this level of terror that Ukraine is as well? So now from Jay and Kiev, Ukrainian drones have again shut down Moscow's airports, okay? This was one of the airports in Russia. I'm not sure if this is Domodedovo or there's another one as well. I forget the name of it. It starts with an S, but this is what it looked like in the airports just over the last 24 hours as Ukrainian drones were entering into the Moscow region. Now from Vicegrad 24, breaking Ukrainian drone swarms are striking targets in the Moscow region. This video shows one of the 3 strikes against the Kronstadt drone factory in Dubna. Another target hit is Elma Tech Park, where military micro and radio electronics, infotech, and robotics are produced. So this one's going to show the attack in Dubna, just a little bit north of the capital of Moscow. We had a direct strike with Ukrainian UAV on this drone production facility. Take a look at this. All right, so just a quick 8-second clip here, but we can see a direct strike on the top of this building and reportedly manufacturing UAVs that attack inside of Ukraine. Okay, so massive hits over here, guys. I've got another video here I can show you also from Ozen Defender. Major fire can be seen burning at the Kronstadt production and Dubna machine building plant in the town of Dubna to the north of Moscow, which produces both drones and cruise missiles for the Russian armed forces following this morning's large-scale drone attack by Ukraine. Okay, so 10-second video here. You're going to see the building on fire. Take a look at this. All right, so judging by the looks of this, it looks like this drone production plant is going to be shut down here for some time as we have a massive fire breaking out also on the inside. You can see all that black smoke there. Wouldn't be surprised if we get some secondary explosions at this facility. Maybe we'll get more video coming out later if the firefighters are not able to put that out. So now from Bliskovka, 2 more factories. Ukrainian armed forces attacked microelectronics and chemical production, the territory of Russia. And this information right here talks about the Elma Techno Park that was attacked. But I want to show you guys this right here. In addition, the Ukrainian armed forces successfully attacked the Dmitrovsky plant in the Ivanova region, which produces components for explosives and gunpowder, as well as additives for rocket and aviation fuel. Okay, so another gunpowder plant, explosive plant in the Ivanova region. Now, this is just like a little bit northeast of Moscow. Reportedly, that was attacked as well and hit. Okay, so I don't have any video footage, unfortunately, coming from that plant showing the evidence of the strike, but that's what Ukraine's general staff reported, is they also targeted that plant. So if we get information on that, I'll let you guys know. Now from Astra, drone crashes crash damages train in Moscow region. And Volga electric train was damaged by a downed drone near Kuryakovo, if I'm saying that right, which is a train station, okay, in the Moscow region also. So we allegedly had a drone crashing over here and disabling an electric train. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video real quick.
Han sida ommontanden geturig bile.
All right, we'll go ahead and stop it there. So judging by the evidence of this video, what it looks like is this drone crashed right here on the ground, right next to this electric train, and caused major damage to it. So once again, another major hit to Russia's railway systems. We've been seeing a lot of drones doing damage like this, destroying railroad tracks, trains all over the place. Sometimes some of the partisans that work on behalf of Ukraine catch trains on fire inside the Moscow region. Also, look at this massive damage here on the ground from this drone exploding after it hits the ground right there. So a couple more pictures coming out showing the damage to this train here also, and a piece of the wreckage from the Ukrainian drone. So massive hit there from Ukraine also. Now from Igor Sushko, Russia-Ukrainian drone flying right over Sheremetyevo International Airport in Moscow. So this is the other airport I was trying to think of, but it's such a long name, I can't remember it sometimes. Sorry, guys. But there's at least two major international airports. There's this one, the Sheremetyevo, and also Domodedovo. And I believe both these airports were shot down. And check out this Ukrainian drone flying right over this airport in Moscow region.
Нихуя себе. Прям над домом.
Да нет, дальше дома сидел. Сейчас он отлетит, а
Бля, он еще может развернуться, слушай. А где ракета? Блядь.
All right, so this is direct evidence of why Russia has to shut down their airports, and many people are left stranded waiting in lines at the airport to try to get on their flights, as a lot of them cannot take off due to these drones entering in the area. So isn't that crazy? These drones just flying right over this airport, a major international airport inside of Russia. So crazy what these drones are able to do to Russia's economy over there. So now let's talk about this meeting between we have Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, meeting with Friedrich Merz today, the German chancellor. So let's talk about that. For more translated, Germany will provide Ukraine with military aid worth 5 billion euros, though the details have not yet been disclosed. Today, the defense minister signed an agreement to fund the production of long-range weaponry made in Ukraine. Additionally, a contract was concluded between Ukraine and German defense industry. Okay, so major updates here. Huge contract being signed between Germany and Ukraine in regards to funding production of long-range weaponry. Okay, this is going to be like cruise missiles and whatnot, lots of different missiles, maybe even long-range strike drones. So much was being signed here today. Lots of huge defense contracts between Ukraine and Germany. And this is very big. And we know Germany wants to up their military as well. They want to boost the size of it. They want to be a powerhouse inside of Europe right now. So this is going to help them out a lot, signing these defense contracts with Ukraine. So these were the defense ministers of Ukraine and Germany signing this contract today. From Ukrainian Review now, Germany will finance a substantial part of the Starlink project in Ukraine, according to Merz. We are financing long-range missiles and Ukrainian production without range restrictions, Merz said. There are new agreements on air defense and air defense missiles. Okay, so lots of huge updates here also. Ukraine's getting massive support from Germany right now that Merz is the German chancellor. This is something that he's talked about. I mean, he's very pro-Ukraine, really wants to support Ukraine and help them win this fight against Russia. And yeah, so major contracts being signed here between Ukraine and Germany today, and a lot of talk about long-range missiles and production of these missiles with Ukraine, and also not slamming any restrictions in terms of range for Ukraine to be able to use these for strikes inside of Russia. Now from Max 25, today agreements were reached on investments in the production of drones in Ukraine, according to Zelensky. There are agreements on air defense systems and missiles. If Ukraine is not present at the NATO summit, it will be Putin's victory, but not over Ukraine, but over NATO. Okay, so we heard about the production of missiles and air defense systems and whatnot. But drone production, that's another big one. Apparently, they reached some investments on that as well. We know Ukraine's really upping their production of drones right now. Maybe they're going to be selling some over to Germany as well. And then in terms of this NATO summit coming up, I think it's this month in June. We keep hearing that maybe Zelensky's not going to be able to attend, or there's apparently some worry that Zelensky and Trump might get into some sort of feud again, and maybe some sort of argument. There could be some sort of issue there. So I don't know if Zelensky's going to be at this NATO summit coming up, but apparently Ukraine wants to be there. And Zelensky stated today it will be Vladimir Putin's victory if Zelensky is not able to attend. So it looks like he's still trying to do that. Now from Vicegrad 24 breaking, Bild reports that Germany will spend millions on helping Ukraine develop and mass produce cruise missiles with a range of up to 2,500 kilometers. So look at that, guys, 2,500 kilometers, no restrictions. They're going to be able to strike inside of Russia. I mean, imagine in like a year or two from now, if this war continues and carries on, and even if it does, and if it does come to an end, if Ukraine is able to continue producing these missiles with Germany, I mean, this will give Ukraine immense capabilities to strike inside of Russia if Russia ever tries to continue the war in the future. So again, Ukraine is only going to continue to get stronger as time moves on, and it's very crazy to see that. Now from Ukrainian Review, Russian armed forces will do everything to cross the administrative border of the Dnipropetrovsk region, says Zelensky. Russia is preparing to produce 500 drones per day. About the memorandum, we will read their proposals and will definitely respond. About the location of the negotiations, I think that 3 platforms are most realistic: Turkey, the Vatican, and Switzerland. We are ready for the Trump-Putin-me format. And we are ready for the Trump Putin and Trump Zelensky, and then the 3 of us. Okay, so looks like Zelensky's still very open to meeting with Putin, trying to end this war. That's what he's coming out and talking about. They're waiting for this memorandum from the Russians so they can review it, see what the Russians are demanding in terms of a ceasefire or peace with this war. So major statements coming out from Zelensky today. Now for NOAA reports. We're using Patriot missiles carefully, just like before. Zelensky said we're tackling, the toughest threats, ballistic and cruise missiles. We have rockets. Partners are helping. We're getting close to decisions on licensing other air defense systems, but I can't share the details yet. Okay, so it looks like they're still trying to secure more air defense systems. We know that Europe might supply maybe another Patriot system, but apparently they're running into some issues over there. And right now, we understand as well that Ukraine is very short on air defense missiles, and that's really bad because Russia's launching a lot of missile attacks into Ukraine right now. And if they don't have air defense systems to shoot these things down, that's going to be a big problem for them. Now from Jürgen Nodich, we will do everything to ensure that Nord Stream 2 never starts operating, according to Friedrich Merz. So that was another major statement today. So he's stating that Nord Stream 2 will never be opened. This is a major natural gas pipeline that runs from Russia over to Germany and Europe. And allegedly, he's stating today that they'll do everything they can to make sure that Nord Stream 2 never starts operating, that they'll keep it that way. Now for Max 25, if we have money, we will respond to Russia's missile attacks, and that will bring us closer to peace, says Zelensky. Putin is more irritating to the White House than I am, says Zelensky. So, calling out Putin there and stating that Putin is more irritating to Donald Trump than Zelensky is, that Trump favors Zelensky over Putin. Although maybe he may not like him 100%, he favors him more than Vladimir Putin. But aside from that, talking about money here, major statement today, as I do have a huge report regarding Ukraine calling for more money to boost their defense industry. So here's the report from Nexta. Zelensky urges West to provide Ukraine with $30 billion by year's end to boost domestic arms production, according to Bloomberg. In addition, Zelensky aims to increase the number of drone operations on Russian territory from 100 to 300 to 500 per day, and to build a stockpile of 1,000 drones. So crazy, guys. Here's the report. Ukraine needs $30 billion to boost arms output, Zelensky says. So let's see who's going to cough up to $30 billion. But that's what Zelensky's calling for, that they need more money to boost their arms production. And they also want to be able to build a stockpile of 1,000 drones that they can utilize at any time to attack Russia. So I think for sure in the next 6 months to a year, I wouldn't be surprised we start seeing well over 500, maybe 1,000 drones going into Russia every day. So that's a big report today. Now from Bliskovka, Vladimir Zelensky said that the peak of the impact of Western sanctions of the Russian economy will be in the summer of 2026. The president also expressed hope that the war will be over in June 2026. Okay, so that was a big statement from Zelensky today while he met with Friedrich Merz, is that he hopes the war will be over by next year, and he thinks that possibly it could be over because the effect of all these sanctions that the West is putting onto Russia right now might start to come into effect and really hamper Russia's economy by mid of next year, June, summertime. So we'll see what happens here if this war continues on for another year, as right now there's still negotiations ongoing. Now, for more translated, a new round of negotiations between Ukraine and Russia will be announced soon, according to Lavrov. Additionally, the so-called chief diplomat of the Russian Federation once again voiced the Kremlin's absurd demands to the repeal of all discriminatory laws, on non-nuclear and neutral status for Ukraine and elimination of the root causes of the conflict. Is the root cause of the conflict currently in the room with him? Take a look at this clip, guys. 17 seconds.
16 мая в Стамбуле, когда они возобновились, мы настаивали на отмене всех этих дискриминационных законов и будем продолжать это делать на следующем раунде прямых переговоров, о котором мы объявим в самое ближайшее время. 16 мая в Стамбуле, когда они возобновились, мы настаивали на...
Okay, so we can see here Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister out of Russia, stating that possibly soon we could see a new round of direct negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, possibly in Turkey is what it looks like the Russians are trying to shoot for. And also you can see that we have War Translated here asking, is the root cause of the conflict currently in the room with him? Because that's what Sergei Lavrov is talking about here. And what War Translated is referring to is Vladimir Putin, because Putin obviously launched this invasion into Ukraine. So now for more Monitor, there are 125,000 Russian soldiers stationed in across the border from the Sumy and Chernihiv regions of Ukraine who are expected to be engaged in offensive operations this summer. Yeah, Zelensky came out today and said there's 50,000 soldiers sitting right over the border of the Kharkiv region in Ukraine. This would be in Belgorod. Okay, so Russia's got a lot of troops in Kursk right now, a lot of troops in Belgorod, and apparently they've got to be built up in the Bryansk region as well, because that's right over the border from the Chernihiv regions. Okay, this is like northern and northeastern Ukraine, and we're still expecting a major summer offensive over here. So there's your update, guys. 125,000 stationed over the Sumy and Chernihiv regions. That's northern Ukraine. Now for Max 25, Russian troops will be able to attack Sumy with FPV drones as soon as they pass Yunikivka and occupy several heights, warns retired Ukrainian Armed Forces Major Lapin. Gray zone has already formed in front of Yunikivka, and this creates a direct danger for the city. So we talked about this, okay? Up here in the Sumy region, there's a portion of land here inside of Ukrainian territory that's occupied by the Russians. 4 settlements have been taken over. Yunikivka would be this city right here, which is a major transport hub before the Ukrainians are able to enter into the Kursk Oblast of Russia. And if they end up taking over the settlement and move forward beyond this gray zone, they're going to be able to start attacking the city of Sumy, which is a little bit further south over here, not too far away from where a lot of this fighting is taking place. They'll be able to use FPV drones to directly attack Sumy, which is not good news. Now from Keith Kellogg, stoking fears of World War III is an unfortunate, reckless comment by Medvedev and unfitting of a world power. President Trump is working to stop this war and end the killing. We await receipt of the Russian memorandum term sheet that you promised a week ago. Ceasefire now. Okay, so Keith Kellogg, the special envoy for Ukraine that's tasked with negotiating with Russia also to try to end this war. Dmitry Medvedev had a statement coming out yesterday, and he's the deputy head of Russia's National Security Council. And he put out a statement yesterday saying, regarding Trump's words about Putin playing with fire and really bad things happening to Russia, I only know of one really bad thing, World War III. I hope Trump understands this, okay? So yesterday I put out a video for you guys letting you know that Trump was basically threatening Russia and telling them to end this war and stating that, Vladimir Putin is playing with fire here, that maybe sanctions are going to be slammed down on Russia's economy. So Dmitry Medvedev comes out and threatens World War III with the U.S. president. I mean, can you imagine that? I mean, this is all at the same time that Trump wants to do business with Russia. I mean, why would you want to do business with these people that are literally threatening World War III with you? I don't understand what Trump's plan here is, but apparently he's more worried about securing business deals with Russia than anything else and trying to put an end to this war. It's just absolutely insane what we're seeing here. Now, from NOAA reports, the U.S. State Department says Trump has many tools to end the war. Spokeswoman, Tammy Bruce, clarified his recent Putin remarks weren't criticism, but a serious message for someone who's long fought for peace. Russia should take this seriously. Americans certainly do. So we had also Tammy Bruce coming out. She's the U.S. State Department spokeswoman, and she was elaborating on Trump's statement yesterday when he was saying that Putin's playing with fire here, that maybe they're going to sanction Russia. Just coming out and saying that, this is not any kind of intention to criticize Russia. It's just to let them know that he's serious about committing to peace. But we know how Trump speaks. Trump does speak like that, and they could definitely, provoke other people to kind of respond that way, which is kind of why we're seeing Dmitry Medvedev coming out saying that yesterday as well. So just statement coming out from Tammy Bruce. Here's another one also from Polymarket Intel. Breaking, U.S. State Department spokeswoman Tammy Bruce. The U.S. is ready to launch a maximum pressure framework against Russia. So allegedly that's what she stated also yesterday during her speech, talking about Trump and elaborating on his statement that he made towards Russia. Apparently, the U.S. is also ready to launch a maximum pressure framework against Russia. That probably means sanctions. So get ready for that, as the U.S. State Department is confirming that as of yesterday. Now from Bliskovka, Belarus has moved the main maneuvers of its joint military drills with Russia deeper into the country, away from its western borders. According to Belarusian Defense Minister Krenin, this shows a readiness for dialogue, compromise, and reducing regional tensions. In doing so, they aim to demonstrate to global leaders Belarus's truly peaceful stance. So apparently Belarus moving a lot of these military drills, maybe even with Russia, with this upcoming massive drill they're going to be holding, potentially 100,000 Russian troops could be stationed in Belarus. Ukraine's very worried about that. NATO's worried about that maybe that could be a precursor to a major attack on Ukraine, or maybe onto NATO, who really knows here. But apparently Belarus is trying to move those troops to the center of their nation, away from NATO borders and also from Ukraine, to kind of show that they're a peaceful nation. But who really knows what's going to happen here? That could also just be a cover, and maybe they will launch some sort of attack. We don't really know what's going to happen, because we know Russia will be involved in those drills. Now from Anton Yurishenko, Peskov complained about drone attacks on Russia. He did not mention that between May 24th and 26th, in just 3 days, Russia launched over 900 attack drones against Ukraine, along with ballistic and cruise missiles. Just last night, Russia attacked Ukraine with 5 Iskander-M KN-23 ballistic missiles, a KH-59-69 guided missile, and launched 88 drones. Yeah, Ukraine was attacked again last night. Lots of drones and missiles going into Ukraine, and this is what the Kremlin has to say.
Ну, как минимум, можно сказать, что эти действия Киева, которые мы вчера только с вами говорили о том, что происходило накануне Дня Победы, эти действия Киева, конечно, они диссонируют с устремлением, наверное, к мирному процессу. И, конечно, мы эти действия осуждаем. Они, как минимум, не способствуют продвижению мирного процесса.
Okay, so we've heard this numerous times over the last week, the Kremlin coming out condemning these constant drone attacks onto Moscow that Ukraine is carrying out, just like what we saw overnight. And if you think about it, it's very interesting and hypocritical at the same time that the Kremlin is coming out saying that this is sabotaging peace efforts with Ukraine, but yet at the same time, just over the weekend, we had Russia launching a massive attack, probably something over 600-700 drones fired into Ukraine. Ballistic missiles striking directly in the heart of Kiev. I mean, the Russians are doing much more to attack Ukrainian civilians than Ukraine just simply going after military targets inside of Russia. So I think it's absolutely fair what Ukraine is doing right now, and the Kremlin is trying to deflect from that. Now from Anton Yurishenko, Putin's aide Ushakov said that President Trump doesn't fully understand that Russia hits only military infrastructure and military-industrial complex facilities of Ukraine. It's very possible that President Trump does not fully realize the scale of Russia's lies. I mean, take a look at this, guys. Yuri Ushakov out of the Kremlin as well.
Трампа недостаточно информирует о том, что реально происходит в контексте украинско-российского противостояния. В частности, не информирует о том, какие участившиеся массированные террористические атаки производит Украина против мирных российских городов. А Трамп знает только о том, какие ответные меры мы предпринимаем. Причем до конца не понимает, что мы бьем исключительно по объектам военной инфраструктуры или по объектам ВПК. Все. А Трампа...
All right, so Russia coming out again stating that they only go after military targets inside of Ukraine. They don't go after civilian targets. I mean, let me know what you guys think, but every single day on this channel, I show you guys video footage coming out from Ukraine, showing just homes being destroyed, level to the ground, people losing their lives, people being killed in gardens. I mean, it's just all over the place in Ukraine. This is all we see is civilian targets being hit. And I won't say that military targets are not attacked as well, but for the most part, what we see coming out from Ukraine is civilian targets, and the Russians are stating they don't do that. So let me know what you guys think. Now, for NOAA Reports exclusive, Putin reportedly demands a written pledge from Western leaders to halt NATO's eastward expansion as a condition for peace in Ukraine. Russia also wants Ukraine to be neutral, some Western sanctions lifted, resolution of the issue of frozen Russian sovereign assets in the West, and protection for Russian speakers in Ukraine, 3 sources said to Reuters. Here's a report today, exclusive. Putin for Ukraine peace wants a pledge to halt NATO enlargement, sources say. So think about everything Russia's asking for here. I can't see them getting a lot of that. Now, NATO expansion eastward, that's obviously talking about Ukraine as well. They don't want Ukraine into NATO. Ukraine wants to get into NATO. They've already stated that this is a major condition for them, that they do not want that being held back. They want to be able to get into NATO at some point. Also, Ukraine being neutral, Ukraine's not going to want to agree to that. They want the open opportunity to join any alliances necessary to protect their nation, and I totally understand that. And then, just in regards to like frozen Russian assets and all these other different things, we know that Europe is not going to allow that right now. So they're going to come out with some major conditions for peace here very soon that we again understand that Ukraine is not going to agree to. Europe's not going to agree to it. We're probably not going to see a halt to this war anytime soon. Now for Max Kippish, Ukraine has deployed the Gogol M, a reusable AI-guided mothership, that a drone that launches 2 FPV drones up to 300 kilometers after release. It returns while the FPV strikes targets. New era of drone warfare. So this is that new Gogol M, okay, an AI-guided mothership drone that can carry 2 FPV drones, fly 300 kilometers behind enemy lines, drop off these 2 FPV drones, and then fly back and keep doing the same thing. So what this is going to allow Ukraine to do is launch deep strikes behind Russian lines with FPV drones to disrupt logistics and whatever might be, so that way they can attack further beyond the front lines. So that's huge news coming out today. This is a picture showing this mothership drone dropping off one of these FPV drones that eventually can fly around and go back to where it came from and pick up more FPV drones and continuously do that. So that's crazy. Now from Ukrainian Review, the all-for-all model means returning all prisoners. President Zelensky hopes that after the ceasefire, a total exchange will be possible. Also, according to him, the Russians do not want to return foreign prisoners who fought on the side of Ukraine in order to influence relations and put pressure on other countries. Also, to exchange them for the agents imprisoned there. Russia does not want to exchange citizens from Belarus who were on our side, even political prisoners, because they do not want to admit that Belarusians are on the side of Ukraine. As for the Chinese and Korean prisoners, we still have them all because there are no requests from that side so far. Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, we know that Chinese and Korean soldiers have been caught on the front line by Ukraine, and they're still currently holding them prisoner right now. And apparently Russia hasn't asked for them back. They've just been asking for their own citizens back. I guess same thing on the Russian side too. The Russians are still holding some foreign prisoners as well for leverage on other countries. So we're still waiting to see if at some point we can get a ceasefire. Maybe all prisoners will be returned from both sides. And that's something that Zelensky is hoping for. Okay, so a couple more updates before we get you out of here from Bliskovka. Air Defense Forces neutralized 71 out of 88 Russian UAVs. 34 were shot down by firepower, 37 locally lost, suppressed by electronic warfare. Russia's also used 5 Iskander-M KN-23 ballistic missiles and X-59-69 guided missile. So just to let you guys know here, we talked about this earlier, but 88 UAVs, 71 out of those 88 neutralized. I mean, that's still a lot that we're seeing, guys. Almost like an 80-90% sometimes success rates in the amount of UAVs that Russia fires are now being brought down, whether shot down or neutralized by electronic warfare. Still very good to see that, but otherwise we had some missiles going into Ukraine as well. Don't have any information on the extent of those damages, but we did have missiles being fired. Now for Kiev Independent, these are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of May 28th, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. In our final update of the day, Russia's losses as of May 28th, 1,050 troops, 2 AFVs, 52 vehicles and fuel tanks, 4 tanks, 18 artillery systems, 65 UAVs, and it looks like that is it, guys. Once again, these numbers just completely collapsing. Really some of the smallest numbers I've seen throughout this entire war, and it's so strange to me. But at this point, based on all the information I've been seeing, guys, the conclusion that I come to on why these numbers are so low is Russia is building up for a massive attack. And I think what they're doing is they're launching some smaller attacks right now. But for the most part, I think what they're doing is on the back end. They're building up their forces. We know that this major attack is coming very soon. The Sumy, Kharkiv, and Chernihiv regions up in the north and northeastern side of Ukraine. That's currently not really been contested a whole lot by the Russians. I think they're preparing for that major attack, and they're probably moving a lot of logistics around right now and shifting the front line so they can spread out this attack across Ukraine. So that's probably why we're not seeing so many attacks taking place from the Russians right now and a lot of losses here, but that could probably change in the very near future, potentially within like the next month, okay? So lots of big news coming out from this war, guys. I want to thank you very much for being here for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.